Hey everyone, Mrhappy here, and welcome to Mondays with Mrhappy, aka Mrhappy Mondays, a weekly Q&A show where you ask me questions and I answer them. So this last week has been an interesting one for me. I haven't gotten a whole lot of YouTube work done. Thursday was the Video Game Awards. Friday I actually got to do some Ultimate, not much, but I got to do a little bit. And then Saturday I was actually sick and I didn't get any work done. Today's Sunday and I'm getting the Monday video done. And speaking of the Monday video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit extra. And not extra like the stupid thing the new millennials are saying. I can't take it. I'm a millennial and I can't stand it. It fucking pisses me off every time I hear someone say extra. Demonetized. Anyway, the thing in the top right is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now, for those who haven't played the game, it's out on the Switch, exclusively for the Switch, and I finished the game. You know, I'm in the post-game right now, and I'm opening up cores, which are kind of like a gacha system that doesn't cost any real money. It's just all in the game. And I've got 98 cores to go through, and I streamed a little bit longer today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open cores while answering questions for Mondays with Mrhappy. I don't have too many questions this week, but the only reason I'm taking the time to point this out, as opposed to just doing it, is because I realized that the party members you see might be considered spoilers. So you're going to see 3 people on the list for my core opening here. If someone who doesn't want to know who all the party members are, you don't want to be confused by what you're about to see, I'm just warning you now, that's going to be there the whole video. So it's literally just party members that are being spoiled, but I just don't know what the realm of spoiler is for people watching this in terms of Xenoblade about expectations for the party members. I think they're all in the art for Xenoblade somewhere, or you've seen them in the trailers or something. I don't know. But I'm warning you now that that's going to be spoilers, so I'm going to start that now. So if you don't want to know who the party members are, or don't want to be confused about who the hell's there or not there, just warning you now. So, I'm going to start opening cores. Let me get to the character I want to open the cores for. And, alright, with that out the way, I have all these, like, justice boosters and stuff. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get to the questions, shall we? Alright, so, first question. Ayo, Mrhappy, Figure Guts, how you doing? I'm doing alright. You doing alright? I'm doing alright. Alright, so hope you had fun at Con, as my week has been filled. I'm sort of talking about KupoCon. It was fun. I had a good time at KupoCon. It's been filled with working my ass off in time for Christmas. Only 2 questions and non-Final Fantasy related. So here's my issue. I need a new headset. Oh, you do? I've been looking at the SteelSeries headsets for a few weeks. I'd like you to give me a few pros and cons for the headsets. So first of all, I would absolutely 100% recommend going with the newer Arctis series model, if we're talking about SteelSeries. The old models, they still work fine. In fact, I still think that the highest tier, I think it's, I don't know what they've rebranded it to. When I got it, it was called like the H series. I think nowadays it's called something else. I think they call it, I don't even know. I think it's just called the 800 or the 850 or something nowadays. I should really know this, but off the top of my head, it's just slipping my mind. I think it's the 800s or the 850s right now. Those, to me, are the most comfortable SteelSeries headsets that you can get. But the Arctis 7s are nearly the same in comfort. I think the audio quality is a little higher on these. The mic quality is slightly better, although I don't really use headsets for microphones. And they're just almost comparable, and they're way cheaper. So if you're looking for wireless, Arctis 7. If you're not, the 3 or the 5 are both really good. I don't know that what really the cons are. Like I never really had issues with any of them. This wireless one for this doesn't disconnect very much. I guess, I mean, even the 7s have, like, the audio control on the headset itself, so it's like, I don't know, I can't really think of any cons. Like, there's a lot of fine headsets out there, but the SteelSeries ones have just been easy on me. That's, like, all there really is to it. Don't forget, if you use our SteelSeries link with our discount code MrHappy10, you can save 10% on your SteelSeries purchase. That's for everyone watching this video right now. You won't get better drops out of your common cores, apparently, but you know what? You'll at least get 10% off your SteelSeries headsets. And 2, I've been wondering, how come you don't do much vlogging for day-to-day life? Because my day-to-day life is boring, man. You know what my day-to-day life would be? I'd be vlogging myself waking up, showering, making coffee, making breakfast, feeding my cat, streaming for 7 hours, then YouTubing for however many hours, plus food in between. Like, I go places, but I just don't vlog when I go to those places. Like, when I'm traveling, I'm already miserable. And so the last thing I want to do is vlog when I'm like, alright, I'm at the fucking airport. I'm here like 2 hours early because I was like, oh, maybe it's going to be busy, and it's not, so I'm going to play my Switch, or I'm going to watch Twitch or something on my phone. It's not exciting. I just want to get to where I want to go and just be done with the whole travel part of it. So that's why I don't really vlog. Also, attending a con, I'm usually like talking to people constantly. And when it comes to vlogging from a con, there's a lot of faces there, especially when people walk up to me and say, you know, hey, you know, are you? And then we do, you know, I talk to them and whatever. And that's all stuff I'm going to cut out of the vlog because they're not giving me their consent to be in it. I could ask, but it's kind of just a pain in a sense. Sometimes I like to do like end of the day thoughts for each day of a con, but vlogging from the con floor, I'm already like all over the place on the con floor. It's just like the last thing I'm thinking about pretty much. Alright, number 2. Hi, Happy. Long-time watcher, first time asking. So here's a bonus of disappointment. You know, it's a good thing the bonuses have kind of died down a little bit because people were feeling like mad pressure to like add bonuses. Like, oh, what do I give Happy as a bonus? But you guys have calmed down a little bit on the bonus part. So that's actually been pretty good. So, long-time watcher, there's a bonus of disappointment and extra question. 1, do you know of anyone who will be doing live translation? So, I'm going to see if I can arrange the same thing I did last time. So, Marco's been really busy. He's on his graduating year when in the school that he's taking over in Japan. So, he's like locked down. He's too busy, and that's good. He's taking care of the thing that matters most. For translations, what I did for the last one is I actually asked Zeno, not Zeno, Zeno or Rasef or whatever name you want to know him by. I always have this discussion with him, which he likes to be called by. He doesn't seem to have a preference. He's the Reddit lead, and they do a translation on the Reddit Discord. What I did last time is I restreamed their translation portion of the Discord. I'm going to see if I can just do that again, which means I'll be live streaming a translation. It'll just be text only. You won't hear someone, and then I'll repeat whatever text is actually popping up in the Discord. If not, I'll be live and I'll be reading the Discord. I just won't restream it, so it'll depend on what permissions I get if we just do the same thing again. And 2, do you think the village defense system from 1.0... Man, it was content in Eureka? No. Man, that content was so boring. Oh, let me rephrase. If you were just trying to beat it as fast as possible, it wasn't that bad. It was an interesting take on base defense. However, the most optimal way in terms of rewards for that, on top of like taking a week to like build everything up, which definitely wouldn't be there, you know, the first person who generates the most in like the given week has the best rewards going forward. That I don't think they do that. Thanks, Los Angeles. As for the content itself, if they did like shorter versions of it, I wouldn't be surprised. But they've made it very clear with the diadem that they want crafting and gathering and combat to just be separate. You know what I mean? And I don't blame them, man. Just because here's the thing. To get crafters interested in the first place, you need to add something that is either mandatory or definitely worth doing for crafters. If you make it mandatory, the crafters who don't care about being involved in the combat stuff are now at a huge disadvantage compared to those who do both. And it leads to so many issues trying to force feed gathering and crafting and combat to be in the same zone happening at the same time. Hey, I got a rare. Who did I get? I just know. Oh, I got a polar bear? Oh no, I got a girl hiding behind a polar bear. Oh, it's Ursula. Okay. Sorry. I couldn't help but notice that I got a rare. But yeah, I guess that's ultimately my point. It's forcing them together. I don't see them doing it. I imagine they'll do their best to like always keep them separate from this point going forward. All right, question number 3. Hey Haps, I don't know what's going on. I love the way that question just starts. I don't know what's going on. I played over 200 non-stop matches of Rival Wings to get my mount. That's 6 hours on the weekdays and over 10 hours on the weekends. Not once have I DC'd during the whole gameplay, but I can't seem to stay connected during the feast. And I'm stuck on my silver promotion. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. The feast server may be having connection issues as opposed to the other server. I don't know what to tell you. Like I don't work at Square Enix. I don't work in their networking department. If you're using something like, I guess like Battle Ping or something like that, maybe try changing your connection, the route that you're taking. I don't know. That's it. That's all I can think of. All right, number 4. How you been, Haps? I've been good. Like I said, the last few days have been a little rougher, but you know, I'm doing good overall. First time asker, long time watcher, so first time reward will be a rice ball of tuna filling to the next Makote you pug with. Why am I giving them food? I want food. Let's see. Here's my question. Do you have any advice for someone who's looking or willing to start up a new friendly free company for Final Fantasy XIV? My current company is full of people who are vengeful. I'm the only real active member. I've tried to res the company a few times. The master takeover the past week has left me playing nails on coffin. I'm considering starting up a new free company because I've been a guild master in other games. So first of all, you've already been a guild master in other games, so I'm surprised you're even asking me this question because I don't know. It seems weird that I've never been a guild master. So to ask me for advice on something I've never been is strange. But it seems like you're asking me more about, like, finger on the pulse for Final Fantasy XIV in particular. Like, what are the go-to methods? I see people just do the same thing I see them do in every game. I see them go to the forums. I see them post in shout chat. I see them put things up on the party finder. And with the cross-server group chats, or crossover link shells, I guess, coming up in 4.2, you may be able to make it like something way bigger than just something that's exclusive to your server, which will make the, I guess, the forum advertising, or, you know, I guess that kind of makes it weird, because I guess you could go to the data center and advertise for the data center as opposed to advertising for the server, but that seems to be the only thing. I guess we need to know more about how this whole cross-server link shell thing's going to work in the first place. So, but I mean, you just do the same thing. I mean, I'm not a guild master, so I can only tell you that it's the same process. You're still going to run into assholes, and you're going to run into people who are innocently assholes. Like, people who are just, like, innocently playing the game, but they treat others like shit without realizing they're doing it. Like, it happens. Like, you're just gonna run into all sorts of people, but you should be used to that by now. So that's the best that I got. Just do it. Just Shia LaBeouf it. I know that meme is done, but just do it. Alrighty then, number 5. Hey, hi, how, who, what, where, when, Mrhappy. Okay. Trying to do that and open these cores at the same time was kind of weird. As a bonus for this week, choose one roulette style. I'm just going to go standard roulette since I'm opening these cores at the same time. So food for thought, endless streams just for sport. I don't like the word sport being in my questions because it might involve blitzball, so I'm not going to click that one. Food for thought. Having Gordon Ramsay your own personal chef for a year. Honestly, I would feel bad for that man. I don't think I could rightfully put Gordon Ramsay through that, because if he was forced to be my personal chef, like, no matter what I did or said, he had to be my personal chef. Like, I'd occasionally just tell him I don't like his food, just to see, like, the visceral reaction that I get, just to be like, but I don't want to just tell him that. I want to tell him that like he tells other people. So it's like almost like revenge for something he never did to me, in a sense. I don't really know how else to put it. So, as for the actual questions, 3 for this week if you have time. I do. We don't have too many questions on the actual forums this week, besides just opening cores anyway. 1, my bestie and I, her ninja, and myself as red mage, have been practicing in order to improve chances of being more desirable in raid groups. However, things have become discouraging for seeing those with a lower item level out DPSing either of us while following the same rotation. So, I always say this whenever people say, I'm doing less DPS, I'm doing the same rotation. I always ask, are you though? You may think or you may be aiming to do the same thing, but saying you're doing the same rotation and just doing less DPS, that doesn't happen. Outside of critical hit chance variance and like direct hit chance variance, that just doesn't happen. You're clearly not just doing the same or the correct rotation all the time. There's probably lapses in decision making, missed procs. It could be anything. It could be delayed ninjutsus in case of her. There's things missing. Could be reduced uptime. It could be poor buff management. It could be poor buff timing. It could be the lack of potions, the lack of food. Like, there's not enough information there for me to draw a conclusion, but if you're doing like 1,000 less DPS, that's not I'm doing the correct rotation and getting out DPS by people lower item level. There's clearly a rotational error that's being made. You might be aiming to do something, but somewhere along the line your execution is falling short, because that is not just a stat-based or a potion-based difference of a casual difference of 1,000. So it's the hard truth, but you might think you're doing the right rotation, but if you're that much behind, you are clearly not doing like the optimal rotation, because that is absolutely a rotational error. 2, being a previous ninja main rating in Heavensward, can you suggest any guides or personal tips? I'd Momo. Momo has the ninja guide. He's the one. Just Momo Nin Guide. M-O-M-O Nin Guide. Done. You'll be, and she'll be set. For a second, I forgot that was for her and not you, because you said that you played it. But anyway. 3, lastly, looking to main Monk. Being an expert on the job, can you give any personal tips? Monk has a lot of the same personal tips. The big thing with Monk is you just never want to lose Grease Lightning. So learning every fight in such a way that you'll know how to not have to use Tornado Kick is the most important thing. Like, you might look at a fight and go, oh, I lose stacks here. But then, you know, like, you may not. Like, one place I used to think you always lose stacks was Grand Cross Omega. Then I realized I just wasn't doing it right. I had to change form at a certain time to make sure I came out of it in co-whirl stance. I had to make sure that I saved my Riddle of Earth for the second mechanic that came out. If the second mechanic was one that I wasn't allowed to get hit by, then it would screw me. So sometimes I would do the first mechanic and it would still work okay. But there's a few different elements that determine whether or not you can actually lose stacks on a fight. And most of the time it comes down to if you use Riddle of Earth and you make sure you're in co-whirl stance as soon as the phase or whatever the downtime you have actually is ending, then there's very few cases where I can think of. There's a couple places in Ultimate where I think you will lose Grease Lightning once or twice during the Bahamut phase, but I think every other encounter outside of X-Death and Neo X-Death, it is possible to keep your stacks the entire time without losing them. And that's going to be the big thing to practice, is remembering when you're not hitting the boss, that doesn't mean you don't do anything as Monk. You still need to make sure you're using your chakras to get stacks up. You need to make sure that you're getting into co-whirl stance for when you re-engage the boss, and to be starting with Demolish so you can get that dot ticking, assuming that it's not still left over from before. But even if it is, it's probably timed so low that you might as well just do it anyway. And that's the big thing. It's all about Greased Lightning stacks. So just learn how to not lose them, because that is crucial. What you're doing when there's no enemies available is just as important as what you're doing when there are enemies available. All right, on that note, next question, number 6. Hey, MrSynestrrr, Final Sim here, and welcome to Mondays with MrHappy, aka MrHappy Mondays, weekly Q&A show where we ask questions and you answer them. See, saying it twice in a video, I'm always like, I just want to get through the second one as quick as possible. So what is the battle for the net? Can you please tell us the whole story in detail? So that is a very good question. Battle for the net is basically the idea that we are trying to prevent net neutrality from being overturned in North America. It already doesn't exist in certain other countries, and it's starting to become problematic in other countries. We see those trends developing and the fact that it's trying to be removed. So let's start from the top. What is net neutrality? Net neutrality is the idea that the internet should be open and free. Now, when I say free, I don't mean monetarily speaking. I mean anyone can view any content and can create content and post it on the internet without being governed by certain things, other than obviously certain laws being in place that make certain things illegal in certain states. But that's a little bit different than net neutrality overall. Those are like disgusting, stupid things that, honestly, it's sickening that any human being could even be into said things. Anyway, so what we have as of 2015 is an official law that puts net neutrality, it's been so long since I've had to do this spiel. I believe we're currently classified under Title II, and that they want to reclassify the internet under Title I. The difference between the two is one of them allows, one of them basically prevents ISPs from doing whatever they want with the internet. So if net neutrality were to go away or be reclassified again as Title I, then what would happen is ISPs could choose to open up fast lanes for companies that are that are willing to pay money to the ISP to improve their service. That doesn't sound that bad. That's like the easy thing. However, it also means they could deliberately slow down competitors to their own products unless they fork up the cash at the same time. It also means that startup businesses that focus heavily on online retail or any sort of, like imagine if this didn't exist and YouTube popped up nowadays. Like if we didn't have net neutrality, YouTube popped up and all these ISPs had their own video things, they would just block YouTube. That's all they would do. They would just slow down your connection to YouTube, or they would make you pay $5 to $10 extra a month to make sure YouTube speeds stay the same as the rest. And basically, they're going to super monetize the internet, slow it down for everybody if you're not paying extra big bucks. That could be as simple as things like Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, anything at all. They just charge more money, slow you down, whatever it is. There's so many different facets to this that this honestly probably isn't the perfect way for me to do it, especially because I'm like multitasking with the thing in the top right. But it's super important. It's being voted on December 14th, and it's barely even a vote because we're almost certain this battle is going to extend past December 14th, where Ajit Pai, the current FCC chairman, is going to seek the destruction of the current the current United States laws that allow net neutrality to exist. So if he does that, then everything I just described will happen, and it's going to be, if that law passes on the 14th, man, it's good. First of all, without even assuming that it remains that way and that it doesn't get like repealed or something like that, it would affect my life majorly as soon as it's actually incorporated. Because as soon as any ISP starts fucking with the platforms that I currently use to share content, I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Twitch and YouTube are in a huge danger zone, which is why those companies in particular, as well as many others, are like completely against it. But not only that, I'm scared for what will happen in terms of the activists, because there's a lot, like the internet has some of the, I guess, most dangerous activists. So remember, to separate activists from terrorists, there are people who are very willing to do things as below the belt as possible to make their point. And I can imagine that the riots and just what the online activists are going to do is going to shred apart the country. Like, I have insane fears about that if net neutrality were to actually be repealed. So it's as my Twitch says, it's going to get feisty, to put it in the most mild of senses, I guess you could say. But yeah, that's not even the whole story still. I could go back further than 2015, but while multitasking, I probably shouldn't be trying to describe it by classifications like Title II and stuff. So that's the gist of it. If you're in the United States, and I've already done this, I've already called multiple congressmen, and I'm in California, so like they all kind of are with they're kind of on my side. It's just like kind of the natural progression of the way I'm thinking versus the way California as a state generally thinks. And you call your congressman. If you're in the United States, call a congressman local to you, someone who you can reach out to, who you can let them know that you want net neutrality to stay. I think Streamlabs has like a link that you can use to like start automatically calling congressmen in your state. Thank you, Los Angeles again. There's other websites as well. I don't know if I don't think GoFCC yourself still does that. I think I know GoFCC yourself did something different back when it came out. But I think there's a few other websites that you can find. Just if you look up net neutrality call, you should be able to find something like that. All right, on that note, number 7. Hey, guy. Why do you call me guy? I still don't know why you call me guy. You never tell me why you call me guy. Thanks for answering my AoE question about Bard. Your advice on dots with Mage's Bow plus Rain of Death works fantastic. Hope you had a good KupoCon. I did. I didn't want to bother you with the question last week since you would be hotel and tired. But I still did it, so it's whatever. Anyway, happy gay. Why is it that Square Enix does not offer an option to buy Gil from the Mog Station? So I was told World of Warcraft does, so that's not true. World of Warcraft allows you to purchase subscription time with gold. So basically, players can purchase a monthly subscription token, and they can choose to sell it for gold, or they can choose to give it to somebody, or they can choose to use it themselves, which would be weird to purchase the token and then use it on yourself. So you don't just purchase gold, but it is, to some people, it's the equivalent. People with a lot of extra, like, real dosh, they tend to buy those tokens and sell them for gold, and then they have a shit ton of gold in game. So in a way, it does end up working like that, but you don't straight up purchase gold, unless they've added that in Legion, which I would like to believe they have not resorted to going that far down, since I don't keep up with everything World of Warcraft. But that's the big thing you're missing here. They sell you a service that you can gift to people, and then they also say, hey, you can just sell this thing for in-game gold as well. And they allow that. That's like part of the system, that you can purchase game time with excess gold. So that's what it is. Bonus question if you have time. It's been a while since you relocated. When are you going to fill shelves behind you? I have all that stuff in there. I'm actually glad I didn't, because I had to have a plumber come in, and he had to go through the wall behind me, behind the green screen right here. And I had to move the whole bookshelf, so it actually ended up working out okay. I haven't, because most of the time I just have the green screen up anyway. So one day, but not yet. Not yet. All right, I think these are the last questions on the forums. Hey, Haps, let's flip a coin. I don't have a coin nearby. So you know what? Here, I don't know. I've got a key. So here, I've got the key is the same on both sides. I don't know what I'm thinking of right here. All right, I could flip my phone. That's probably a bad idea. I'm just gonna eeny, meeny, miny, whatever. Question about music. I'm just gonna pick one. Let's see. Question about music. Isn't it sad that you search for a song and all you find is a JoJo reference? No, because I don't watch anime. I don't have that issue, because I have this issue, but not with JoJo, because I don't watch anime, so I don't know what a JoJo reference is. Like, people sometimes point them out to me, but like, oh, that's a JoJo reference. I'm just like, okay, I don't know what that means. I'm gonna move on with my life, because I don't watch any anime that's not fucking Dragon Ball Super, and people tell me that's not anime. Fucking weebs. But anyway, what I do have is sometimes I'm looking for something in a video game, and I Google that thing, and I just Google the name of the thing. Like, for example, we got Xenoblade Chronicles 2 up at the top right. Let's say I wanted to do, God, what's a good term that's not spoiler? Titan locations. I don't think that actually does anything. I don't think there's any time you actually need that information, but I'm just using a term. Let's say I wanted to Google Titan locations. I would forget to, like, let Google know I'm specifically talking about Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And I would just type it and I'd be like, what the fuck are all these results? Oh, that's right. Google doesn't know me that well yet. The machines are coming. But anyway, that's going to be the last question from the forums. I'm going to take a couple of questions from the Twitch chat, and then we are going to wrap things up for this week. So, ladies and gentlemen who are in the chat, please get your questions started. Alright, so the only question I really had from the chat that seemed worth adding to the video, it's not something I've answered like a million times in the last few weeks, or is like, you know, long enough for an answer to add. Haps, do you have any actual hope for Eureka? Considering it's been delayed due to not meeting their expectations, died and failing twice, and dropping on a major patch and having to compete with story, item level increases, 2 dungeons, a new trial, and a raid tier. Man, I can't wait till 4.2. When you when you say it all like that, I'm just like, man, I want 4.2. Do you think I'll be able to hold up? And at that, do you think it's too much to add here, and 4.3 will be lacking 1 due to overload? No, so I think 4.3 or 4.35 is going to be the next deep dungeon, which they said was going to be heavily revamped. We're also still waiting on the never-before-seen content, which I thought was originally slated for 4.2, but maybe it was 4.3. I don't remember the interview. But with Eureka being pushed back, I wouldn't be surprised if the never-before-seen content, I don't know why I do it so many times, was pushed back as well. So, I don't think it'll... So, to answer the last part first, I don't think it'll mean 4.3 is underwhelming, but I think 4.3 is going to be a really weird patch when it comes to content. As for, will it be okay? I think it'll be fine. I remember the Animus weapon being added back in 2.2, which was a progression patch. I had to compete with item level. And one of the big complaints was that the item level for the Animus was just like, it was like, why was it only what it was? You know, why couldn't it compete on a higher degree? Like why couldn't it be 105 or something like that? And there were plenty of reasons for it, but I think at this point they've had enough years to understand where it belongs and why people will do it. If anything, I think it's better to add it in a patch that has an item level increase. We have to remember that as much as all that other content exists, the way people approach content is not... There's not as many people who approach all that content in the same way. Like, extreme primals are done by at least a reasonable portion of the community, but then raids, even with the easier raids we've had, are not approached by a wide variety of players. So I think it is kind of the right choice to do it in the 4.2 patch, which is almost always like super dedicated to the people who like raiding a lot more than anything else, because now you have the thing that's being added, you know, people finish the story and then they go to Eureka, and then I know people who grind out tons of weapons and tons of progress whenever something like a relic grind comes out. And it's just what they do. It's what they have fun with. So even if they were to finish it in 4.2, they'd probably just do another one. And then on top of that, we don't know if Eureka's... Like, we've been told Eureka doesn't just function for the sake of the relic weapon and the relic armor, that they're just there in general. And at the very least, I expect Eureka to function as a condensed area in which you will partake in the usual relic activities. So what that actually means, I don't know, but I don't see it as an immediate, I have no hope for it. Do I have, like, high expectations? No. I don't have high expectations. I don't, however, have low expectations either. I expect it to fit somewhere in the middle there. And I expect it to, at the very least, deliver on a piece of content that is approachable by a lot of people, which is something that 4.2, specifically, even-numbered patches need or don't have in spades. I think 4.0 is the first time where, with Susanoo being as easy as they were, and with Lakshmi being as easy, where people kind of tried to hop in. And obviously with the new main story stuff, it's a little bit harder to judge. Whereas 4.1 has very clearly been more on the outside of Ultimate, everything else is just, you know, for people who want to be able to just walk up and approach new content. I guess in Shinryu as well, but really just, we all know how it goes. Odd-numbered patches are not for the hardcore. Even-numbered patches are usually for the hardcore. With Ultimate, that's changed a little bit, but outside of that one piece of content, Ultimate, it's otherwise pretty much the same thing. So that's the best way I could think to word my answer, I guess. But anyway, that's going to be a wrap for Mondays with Mr. Happy this week. Let me grab the sponsor list so I can thank the sponsors as per usual. I thought I had it up, but I looked over at my tabs and noticed that I did not. So, I know there's been some new names. Like I said, it's been a rough past couple of days for me, so I fully expect to miss a few that were added. I can go through my new messages on Patreon real quick as well and throw in some additional ones after I get this one done. So, for those who don't know, the reason why we started doing sponsorship is because of hashtag demonetized here on YouTube. This, the people who support over on Patreon make sure I never need to withhold videos on YouTube, regardless of monetization status. If it says it has little to no ads because it didn't pass some sort of check that they have, who the hell knows? It doesn't matter to me. I just post it anyway because the people on Patreon have been supporting the channel as much as they have been. So we have multiple tiers of sponsor, and I'm working on some additions to that this month, but it's been a little bit slow going. So we have our standard sponsors first. We have Cheesecake from Leviathan, Sploda, That Lame Weeb, Ashen, Emiya of Cerberus, MrSynestrrr, Argoti, Fafarian, Rendil, Giraffeswillrule, Stevie-Rex, and Neon. I don't believe that's all the names. I believe I have some new sponsors that have been in the last few days. So like I said, I'll go to my Patreon messages after this and add those people on. We have, for our elite sponsors, Eadric, Red Steel, Lexxie Valentine, Mantaru, and the Rivivus Free Company from Zodiark, Marsh Techie, Ellisan Le'ore from Balmung, Sour Cream and Chives, Ignis Fairgun from the Diablo server, Khuja Cross of Serren, Jean-Francois Hersh Fersh of Fairy, Phoenix Down Free Company on Goblin, Serren from Zodiark, and Rynoet Chikara. Moving up to Premium, we have Kira and Reckless Tea Party Free Company on Cactar, Ignis Fairgun from the Diablo server, Valestra of Fanfret, Noct Cordis from Excalibur, Krovos Moonscar, Nakunayame of Balmung Era, and the Avon Blanc Free Company on Zodiark, Johnny Odin of Tomberry, Private Mikey, Aqua's Sacrifice, Obaidel Shamsi, Spike, Nadian Kurasame, Rudy Rudiger, TinColossus, Khuja Cross, Ahmed, Kuranai, Oni, Abdullah, Killer Hackman, Raul Jr., Darklight 2013, Arthur Mill Gaming Bishop, and Kiltastic Jones. Like I said, some of those are probably out of date, whether people haven't continued support or haven't been able to, or there could be any number of reasons. In fact, I see some changes that were made here. We had a new premium sponsor named Kat Kazuma, so thank you as well. What else did we have? We had a new standard sponsor, and that of Afro Ninja from the Malboro server, so thank you very much. We had, I feel like there's another one here that is missing. I don't have a number for this person, but this person is Merida Mackenzie on Ultros. Here, let me see if I can get what tier they are real quick. Dude, I love, my chat's make fun. So you're an elite sponsor, Gary Green. So thank you very much. That's Merida Mackenzie on Ultros. And then we have, is that it? Is that all the ones that I missed? I think that's all the ones I have messages from at the very least. So thank you those of you who became additional sponsors in this last week as well. But on that note, I am really late on streaming today. It's like almost 4 o'clock and I haven't eaten. So I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to hang out with my Twitch chat for like 2 minutes before I get going. So thank you everyone for watching this week's episode of Mondays with Mr. Happy. We got one rare opening those commons during the show as well. So that actually panned out pretty well. Be sure to ask your questions for next week in the description of the video. There should be a form, the form link, so go there, ask your questions, or be in the chat next Sunday around 12:30 too. Oh wait, no, that's right. This next weekend I'm going to New Jersey, so the next Mondays Mr. Happy will probably be late as well. If not, it'll be shitty quality from a remote location of New Jersey. Heads up. There you go. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Until then, take care.